Welcome to Land House. I'm Seth. For the past year, I have been working with micro hydro, and I hope you have seen several of my videos. If not, links down below. I've been working with Spencer Langston from Langstons Alternative Power, and he has provided a wealth of knowledge and also the PMA that is down here in the creek. He also works with a company called Elgin, and they make Coanda screens. And that is what this box is right here. So, Elgin. This company actually makes screens that are massive. We're talking like full river intake boxes. But this one is their smallest unit. It is roughly a foot in this direction. And if you're not familiar with what a Coanda screen is, it is a bunch of slits that are shaped in a very specific angle that water, basically the surface tension of water, pulls the water into the box, and debris, sticks and stuff, rocks will slide off the front there. This box, I believe, has a rating of somewhere around 50 to 60 gallons a minute, which is a lot. So my hydro system only uses about 30 at max, and so this is more than enough for my system. So let me just go ahead and go over the box real quick. The water, this box right here will take water up to the height of these side fins. So if it's this high, this box will suck all of that in, which is hard to believe. Air holes on this side. It's got a 2-inch outlet, so I'll have to reduce my current system from 3 pipes to a single 2-inch. It's got 4 mounting places there. You can take the screen off if you have to for some maintenance, but hopefully it won't ever have to be opened up. And then back here on the back, it's just another stainless steel plate. This thing is heavy, and I think it will last for a very long time. So in this video, what I would like to do is, okay, so I've been using a rock as a little waterfall to go into my makeshift screen, and I need to have this thing mounted very level, because the water needs to fall over this right here consistently. So no water on one side versus the other. It just needs to have a nice sheet that just folds right in there. So the eventual goal is to have a metal box up there that catches the water off the rock and then sends it down to this catchment intake at a very nice pace. But I think first of all, it'd be worth making this little box out of wood. So the rock is kind of, it's angled a bit and it's kind of got some wonky stuff to it. So let's go ahead and take a tape measure up the mountain and see what kind of dimensions we need to have here for this initial little box that will catch the water that will then send water over into the Elgin. All right, let's drive up top. Whenever the sun is out, my hydro system spins at full force, and it's been making about 100 watts right now. You can see the water is coming out because I haven't sealed it yet. But this little clear box has worked so well down here. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off so that we can keep the water in the penstock here. With one nozzle open, I'm making around 100 watts. There's the water that we were dealing with. This 55-gallon drum acts as a silt catchment and also an air diffuser. So the penstock comes out right here. That's my overflow pipe. That's all the water I've got right now coming into my screened intake. I've got 3 1/4 inch lines going on this little bridge up here to my screened intake. Let's see how much water we're losing here. So we had a really big flood with Hurricane Fred. Oh yeah, look, something has broken a hole into my box. That's letting all kinds of debris in there. Also, a lot of water is going around my inner tube. You can see it right here. So we'll be able to capture all of this water whenever we have a better system. So you can see my rock here. My thoughts are, I want to come out to about right here and go over to that side as well. And that way, even if the rain is up a little, the box that I'm going to build out here will still capture a lot more water. And I will probably bolt in some of this inner tube behind the box. So it's going to be kind of like this one. It's going to be up and flat, and then on the front of it, it's going to have the notches to let the water pour into that Coanda screen. So let's just see what kind of distance we've got here to work with. If I went from about right there where it currently is to over here, looking at about 32 inches. And I think that would be sufficient to capture most of the water throughout the year that I have here.
2 hours later.
If I can get the new Coanda screen in here by fall, I think it'll be nice, because this right here definitely causes a big issue. Some these little snails got down into the screen here, went down the pipe and clogged up the turbine. So anyway, I've got my hammer drill here and the 30-inch board, and let's go ahead and take this out, and then hopefully we can use the hammer drill to get some holes in here, and we'll actually get something attached to this wall. It just occurred to me that I probably should have brought some more tools up here. I didn't bring anything to undo these hose clamps, but we'll see if I can just move this whole box out of the way, because I mostly just want to test out this hammer drill and see if it's even going to work. In an ideal world, I'd be able to capture all the water coming off of this rock. So I just want to see how close we can get to mounting this board flat here. So I'm thinking if I go a little bit lower like that, put the inner tube behind it, would be good. So let's try to do that right there. So first step, I'm just going to put some holes in here about 2 inches or so off of the end. I'm going to use the holes that I just drilled to kind of place the board where I want it. So something about right there. I think the depth is good. To make sure my placement's good over here, I'm gonna go ahead and just screw this in real quick. I was trying this thing where I forcefully push it in a bit and then pull it back out and try it back and forth until it would go in further. Turns out it gets to a point where it just gets stuck. So I think I've got a pair of pliers down in the four-wheeler. I can hopefully get that out. If not, we'll have to saw it off and do another hole. But anyway, holes are good, and I may have to bring up one size bigger on that masonry bit to get this in here smoother. Okay, nice. So now we can build off of this the new place where it's going to fall into a little box and then spill over evenly off of that Coanda screen. And that's the negative with just these regular pliers. The lesson I'm learning is that hammer drills actually are quite strong at putting things into rock. So anyway, I may have to bring a socket set up here. If that doesn't work, I'll just cut it off and we will drill another hole. But at least we know that hammer drill works well to put a hole into rock. Okay, I'm back up here to try to get this out. I've got the impact driver. Let's see if this is powerful enough to pull it out. Oh yeah, nice. So the drill is really good at putting drill bits into the rock, and the impact driver is really good at getting screws in and out of there. So I found a masonry bit that was a slight bit bigger. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that, and then I think we'll be good. And I can use the impact driver to put these in whenever it's time. I enlarged the holes just enough. I think it's gonna do quite well now. So the actual Coanda screen has these 4 mounting holes, and I was looking at my material and I'm only gonna be able to use 2 of them. So here's what I've got going on. We've got that 30-inch board with the holes that correspond with what we put into the rock up there. Then I'm gonna use these 2 scrap pieces here to go on the end. Something like that and like this. And so with those, I can then use this piece right here as the bottom. So that hopefully will fit in there. However that will go. Okay. And then lastly, this 30-inch piece here will go up on the top. I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so something like that. I may have to put something in here to keep the gaps down. Let's see, because I think this board, yeah, I may have to cut these down just a hair so it lays flat against that. But anyway, my thoughts were this box will be mounted onto that rock and it may be a little bit off. So what I can do is use a level like one of those up there and find on here where level is and then cut out the notch. So I'm going to go from right here on this edge and cut down and over and then up here on this board. And so it'll just go down however far it needs to and then back up. And this is what I'll use to level out. So this will be done up there on the actual rock. But I'm going to keep this piece off for now so that we can actually get this mounted to the rock. So anyway, that's the plan so far. Let's go ahead and put this thing together. The caulking now has had time to cure because it's been raining for about a week. So I think it's time to get this installed up on the mountain. I've got my holes here where it will attach to the rock. And then this piece goes in the front here. And let's see, I've got all my tools I need in here with some inner tubes to make kind of a gasket. We'll need this saw and also we'll need this up here. Use a level on that to see where it's going to be level, because you want the water to flow over this portion right here as level as possible. So then I can use a pin, mark out where that's going to be, use my saws to cut that, and then we will go ahead and put the screws in here. And I'm going to use some of this inner tube, I think, in this seam all the way around. And that's going to allow it to hopefully be nice and watertight. We'll see. So let's go ahead and load this stuff up, head up the mountain, and hopefully I can take everything I need in one trip to get this installed. And then we'll have to come back down to get the PVC pipe to go into here. The sponsor of this video is Langstons Alternative Power. He has actually been the sponsor of all of my micro hydro and half of my solar projects here on Land to House. So he is working with Elgin to sell the small and medium sized Coanda screen. This one right here is the small one. It's roughly a foot across and I believe 14 inches tall, somewhere around there. And this one I think will pull somewhere around 50 gallons a minute. They say as long as the water is within this little fin, the screen will pull it. So if you are looking to have a very well-made high-dollar intake screen for your hydro project, then check out the link in the description below to Langstons Alternative Power. Also, if you're working with solar, give him a shout and he will help you walk through stuff or get you some used solar panels. Whatever you're into, he can definitely help you out with that. But anyway, just wanted to mention the channel sponsor for this video. Because it has rained all week, we've got a really nice flow. I'm going to see if I can use a rock or two to maybe divert this water over to the side some. Yeah, maybe. Nope, I don't think so. Here's the idea. I'm going to use this tap con to go through my board and hopefully get this thing attached to the rock over here. Let's see how well it works. I'm going to try to get this back here and then get the box installed. We'll see how well it works. All right, this is what I'm thinking. If I increase the height of this right here just a little bit, maybe about 2 or 3 inches on both sides, it'll capture the water there. And then if I take this board, attach it to the side here, like it was supposed to be before, but then come out with one more board, maybe two, that could just drill into that one. It would bring this out enough to get around this little piece of rock right here, and we would have all of this room to work with. So I just need to basically bring this up a little bit, and I may swap out with a taller board for here so it can be up to like this level, and then come out with another board, maybe even this one from that bigger board, cut the same notch in, and that'll allow it to be out here. I think that's gonna work. So let me just kind of demonstrate here. If this board goes where it's supposed to go right here, that fills up, and I think to be safe, we better do two more boards to get it out far enough. I cut a 2x12 or 14, I forget what that is. I guess it's 2x12. And then I got some of these little pieces here. I figured these could go right here. I'll have to cut them down some, but that'll at least give us an extra 1.5 inches of space right here. And so then, when that one is on the front, I can then notch it down, and then notch down 1 or 3 others if I need to extend this out further. And I can probably, I don't know, put a rock or something wedged in between one of those to kind of bring it out some, so that this can be more level in this direction. Anyway, I don't know if all that makes sense or not. The first thing I want to do is put this board on here. I guess, yeah, I don't know if I'll put the inner tube in there or not, since we're doing so many layers. We'll just see if it's going to work. I'm going to put these blocks in here, and that'll bring it up another 1.5 inches roughly. Everything seems to be pretty good. The problem is the angle that's back away from the rock. It's pretty steep. Just matching up these upper little fins here. Put a pilot hole in with my drill. All of this has turned out to be more involved than I was anticipating, but I think we're almost there. So what I need to do is take this off and trim it down. And I think what I'll do, as long as I've got this much space right here below the water, I should be good. So I'm probably gonna do a little bit lower than this one, so probably down to about right here, cut on over, and that way I can match this right here up to that notch, and it should do pretty good. So anyway, I'm gonna just hold this up here real quick, get an idea of where it needs to be. The main thing is I want it to be below this low point right here, which should be pretty easy to do. I just remembered, this is the part that needs to be level. So let me go ahead and put my level on top of this board, and we will draw this out where it's level. Well, we've made it this far. I've got the notch cut out on all 3 pieces of wood. It seems to be flowing over pretty level. So next I need to just get this attached to there with that angle out some, so hopefully it will get the water in there. Maybe a bit of a stretch, but we'll see. That took about an hour longer than I was anticipating, but I think I've got it. Let's take a look at it here. Let's remove these rocks and get the full flow. Very nice. So my creek's probably running at 100 gallons a minute right now. And so you can see how much water is being pulled in and how much water is being lost over the edge there. It's quite a lot. If I had this kind of flow all the time, that would be so nice. But yeah, so the excess is supposed to be able to clean this stream. And I think I will still put a piece of sheet metal in here on the inside so the water will flow over, hopefully. But I'm seeing there's an air bubble in there, and I think that's actually keeping a lot of the water going over the top. Anyway, a lot of room to improve here, but I think it's definitely flowing right now. Let's toss some debris on this thing and watch it roll off. Yeah, that's super nice. So on my other one, what was happening, you see that falls off of there. On this one over here, stuff will get stuck in this thing really bad and clog it up. And that rock came down and destroyed the screen, and that's kind of game over. Some snails got in here, went down to my turbine and clogged up the nozzles. So this right here I think is going to do pretty good. We'll have to see what it looks like in a low flow situation. Most of the low flow water is just going to come right down here and get in there. I could probably keep some bigger rocks over here just to make sure it doesn't lose water. But anyway, it's pretty good for a first rendition. I have several other videos to film today, so I'm going to stop this video here right now. I still have to add the 2-inch pipe coming out of this that will then follow this same little bridge and go down to that barrel down there. And that will be my air-free source for the hydro. That barrel also catches some debris and sediment so it doesn't go down to the turbine. But for now, I think that turned out okay. Definitely going to have to make some adjustments to it later on, but at least it is installed so I can get some more hydro power. Because Hurricane Fred is what damaged this box right here. A big rock came rolling down the creek and crushed that screen. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It took a little bit longer for me to install than I was thinking, and gives me an idea of what I need to do for the future. Probably going to have to make some kind of cut on a board to find the right angle, and that way it will be totally upright, because I can tell right now some of the water is coming out that should be going in, and if this were up more it would settle in here longer and go out, but it's still flowing enough to run my turbine. Alright, that's it. If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to do that now. Leave me a comment down below. I'm sure there are lots of good ideas to improve this design, and I am always willing to listen and see what you've got to say. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.